I made it. 2 minutes late. Sorry, guys. In fact, I don't even have my light on. Let me get this turned on. Oh, shush. I need to turn my phone down too. Otherwise, we're going to sit and listen to it like update, and that's really going to be annoying. I've had my Atomic News phone off for like 2 days. I forgot to charge it, and I didn't realize I had no power. Like, it was dead. So as soon as I got home, I quick plugged it in. Dude, shut up. Okay, I turned it down. Why am I still hearing it? Like today, this day, I'm so done with this day. Like, I'm done with customers, okay? I know you guys don't know the name of the place that I work at, but I work in retail. I work with animals, and there are people out there, let me turn this light on, that think they know more than me. They know more than me, okay? And what I love to tell people is that, oh, yes, well, I'm a vet tech, so yeah, I got this. You know, hey TKO, glad you're here. Sorry I was 2 minutes late. No, I do not work at PetSmart. Good guess though. But I had somebody come up to me today and they're like, oh, well, this animal and this animal don't seem to be getting along well. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, it looks like one of my coworkers is over there checking on it. And she's like, well, obviously you don't care about it. And I was like, what do you want me to do? Somebody's literally checking on it right now. Do you want me to go pull the fire alarm? I mean, come on now. Like, why do people got to be all up in my business like that? And unrealistic. And it's like, go. Oh, as I fling my, nice. Good job, Laura. This day has got to be over soon. I'm showing you guys my arm fat. All right, let's do this. Laura's having a tough day, but I wanted to give you guys a border update because tomorrow night I work until like 8 o'clock and then I don't get home for like another hour. And then I'm sure you guys have things to do on a Saturday night. I don't know. Maybe you want to hang out with me, but, and then Sunday, I'm doing something with AZ Patriots. We have this big kind of thing going on, which I'm going to try and film for you guys. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm gonna make you guys wait. But at least on my way home, I got to see a barbecue, and I put the footage on my channel. If you go back in video history, it's the first video you'll come to. I just posted it tonight. I was on my way home, and there was a truck like totally engulfed in flames, and fire department wasn't even there. And so, yeah, it was interesting. So go check that out. Sorry about the video dump in the last 48 hours. I've had a lot of footage that I put up on the channel, and every once in a while, like, it comes and goes. Like, sometimes I have like no footage. I can't find anything good for you guys, and then some days I will find like everything. So I gave it to you. So anyway, let's do this live stream, okay? Border Patrol. I want to know in the chat right now if you knew that Border Patrol helps during hurricanes. If you did, type 1 into the chat. If you had no clue, type 2. I'm just curious. Because quite honestly, I had no idea. I had no idea Border Patrol would help during a hurricane. Like, because I thought, well, why? I mean, the hurricane doesn't need permission to cross the border. It's gonna. No, just joking though. I had no idea really what their, I mean, I would in a way know that they would use them somehow, but like for what? So I know I was educated today. Thank you to U.S. Customs and Border Protection website, which I found that on. So I'm going to share this with you guys because I know that I am not the only one. As I can see in chat right now, there are lots of 2s. There are 31 people in here right now and only 15 likes. You guys make sure you hit that like button. If you're new here, click subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so you can see updates about the border every single week. All right. So according to their website, CBP personnel across Florida are making final preparations, working closely with a far-reaching network of FEMA partners and local officials in advance of Hurricane Dorian, which, by the way, just so you guys know, it's a Cat 4 now. Border Patrol has activated Diane J. Sabatino. You guys know how I am about pronouncing things. Which is the Miami Tampa Field Office Director of Operations, as the agency's lead field coordinator to manage the Border Patrol region emergency operations based out of Greater Miami. So Border Patrol provides communications and coordination for all Border Patrol surface, land, and air assets in the region, which includes Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands during major disasters and national emergencies. All right, then. During an emergency, Border Patrol's emergency response is conducted in accordance with the Department of Homeland Security's National Response Framework. So I thought this was really interesting. And so I figured if I really didn't know the details of what they did during a disaster like this, there's going to be lots of you guys out there that don't know as well. So I wanted to make sure I made sure you guys knew. Border Patrol's highest priorities include, highest priorities during a hurricane are to promote life-saving and life-sustaining activities, the safe evacuation of people leaving the impacted area, the maintenance of public order, and prevention of the loss of property to the extent possible, and the speedy recovery of the region. So it's kind of like calling on military. It makes total sense because they're all specifically trained for disasters or emergencies, like when they respond to emergencies on the border, like people drowning in the river and things like that. They have access to a lot of equipment, high technology. Sorry, I can't keep my throat clear. Border Patrol officers and agents join local, state, and federal partners during natural disasters and recovery efforts in maintaining an emergency operations center, supporting search and rescue services, recovery assessments, security, and relief efforts. Border Patrol has a variety of resources that include personnel trained in aerial and urban search and rescue. Okay, so that makes sense. Advanced first aid, aviation assets with tracking and detection capabilities, among many others that will be available to assist during a disaster response. Interesting. It's like having the National Guard. Like it's almost like an extension of the National Guard is what it seems like. Protection is ready. Border Patrol protection is ready to respond with resources and personnel as part of our mission to provide vital services to the trade community and traveling public, and to assist our federal, state, and local partners with life-saving services, distribution and shelter security, and other essential FEMA response and recovery mission tasking. So while they're helping you escape the hurricane, they can be like, excuse me, are you an American citizen? I'm kidding. Border Patrol remains in constant communication with travel and trade stakeholders during emergencies and conduct travel and trade facilitation operations as long as it is safe to do so. Border Patrol's air and marine operation air crews from the Miami Air and Marine Branch, Jacksonville Air and Marine Branch, and National Air Security Operations Center, Jacksonville, have deployed for a number of complex response and recovery efforts following destructive hurricanes over the last few years in Puerto Rico, Florida, Texas, and the Carolinas. Air and Marine Operation transports vital supplies during humanitarian flights and actively supports relief operations and assessments, and it just goes on and on. So there you have it. They put Border Patrol to work during disasters like that, which I think is a good thing, because why have them sit around when you could shift them? I mean, really, it's not like you're going to find people floating in rafts from Cuba during that time. I mean, you might, but not very likely. And what else would they be doing right there? You know, if they were in Florida, nothing. So they might as well assist in the emergency. So I think it's great. I have a few other articles that I wanted to tell you guys about. There's, speaking of that area, let's just say, Gulf Cartel, okay, I didn't realize they had a name for them, but the cartel in the Gulf attacked a Border Patrol boat to protect secret underwater drug pulley. Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. So in other words, the cartels are dragging loads of drugs under the water. Yep. They're wrapping them up, you know, wrapping the drugs up safely in plastic, pulling them underground, attaching them to a pulley, and then pulling them in across to whatever area they can, you know, get them over the border, and then take them to wherever they need to sell it. Yeah. Pulleys underwater, drugs in coconuts. Okay, we've heard about that recently. Drugs inside rocks. Okay, they literally, I don't know how they did this, but they made rocks, and you can see agents pounding it over with a sledgehammer and breaking them open to find the drugs inside these rocks. Okay. What's next? Like, really, they've thought of it all. Armed smugglers allegedly, I love that word, allegedly associated with the Gulf Cartel were responsible for the onslaught of automatic fire that endangered the lives of Border Patrol as it policed the banks for drug smugglers and human traffickers along the Rio Grande Valley River in Texas. Department of Homeland Security investigators recently uncovered that it was to prevent the Border Patrol boat from trampling or breaking an underwater pulley line devised by the cartel to transport large quantities of cocaine into the United States, according to a for official use only law enforcement sensitive document obtained by this website, sarahcarter.com is what this website is that I'm getting this article from, just so you guys know. Border Patrol agents were not aware at the time why the assault was launched on the Marine unit, according to an official who spoke to the news outlet. The U.S. Border Patrol agents assigned to the Rio Grande City Station Marine Unit were patrolling the Rio Grande near Fronton, Texas. Fronton? I really need to learn my geography. They reported they were fired upon from the Mexican riverbank and witnessed 4 subjects with automatic weapons who shot over 50 rounds at them. The boat was hit several times, but no one on board was injured, according to Border Patrol at that time. However, a Border Patrol official in the area told the reporter that agents operating in the Rio Grande Valley only discovered the circumstances regarding the incident from another DHS agency last week and not from Border Patrol management. What is it supposed to be, a secret? I mean, we only found out from another agency, said a Border Patrol official working in the Texas region. Management doesn't even pass this shit Okay, he says this. This is quoted from the Border Patrol agent. We only found out from another agency, said the agent. Management doesn't even pass this shit off to us. Oh my God. He's a little pissed. Sounds like he's a little pissed. Keep us in the dark, and it would have been nice. They keep us in the dark, and it would have been nice to know from a safety perspective. DHS officials could not be immediately reached for comment. I'm sure there's a reason that we don't know, and this agent doesn't know why it wasn't made known to everybody. I mean, I can see both sides. Okay, I can see how this agent would be pissed off, because how are you supposed to do your job if you don't have the information to do your job? But then I can also see where they'd want to keep something like this quiet, because maybe they're still investigating something. Maybe they're waiting for a piece of information and they don't want to blow their cover, that kind of thing. Oh my God, you guys, my nose itches so bad. I've been fighting allergies, you guys, and if I sniff through this whole live stream and scratch my nose, I'm so sorry. I am not on drugs. It is allergies, okay? The Gulf Cartel was utilizing the underwater pulley system to move the shipments without detection across the river when the Marine unit entered their area. The smugglers feared the pulley line would be cut and the contraband would be lost. Oh, darn. So, yeah, we're going to shoot at U.S. officials just to get that load of drugs across. Yeah. So, claims to have overheard the conversation with Border Patrol Marine unit. The law enforcement sensitive document said members of the cartel were attempting to smuggle a large quantity of cocaine. According to the report, a source with knowledge had told the Border Patrol that the Gulf Cartel had set up the underwater pulley system from Mexico to the U.S. banks to cross the bundles of cocaine without detection. Okay, how did they get it connected to our side without us even knowing? That's what I want to know, okay? Now, I mean, I know things like this happen all the time. Like, I just posted a video, I think it was earlier today, of someone smuggling across the border through the water, okay? So if you haven't seen it, it's like 2 videos back in my history. So yeah, it can be done, but to actually connect a pulley system from the Mexican side to our side without us even knowing, hi, Border Patrol, were you snorting it? Like, I don't want to be rude, I love me some Border Patrol, but how did we not know? With all of the technology and all of the sensors that we have and all of the video and the patrols, how did we not know the pulley was connected on our side? Okay, according to, let's see, I already read that part, sorry. As the cartel members began to recover the bundles of cocaine on the pulley line, members of the cartel began to fire at our people. The cartel fired upon the Marine unit to prevent it from crossing and breaking the pulley line. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You guys, the border right now has been dangerous, okay? There have been several articles that have come out about shootouts, okay? I heard specifically from She-Wolf from Guardian Patriots that there are certain areas over there that are pretty dangerous right now. Specifically, we have a gentleman that lives on the border that has contacted Guardian Patriots and asked for help because he strongly believes the cartel is watching him and following him. And when he is not at home, he believes they are using his property to traffic drugs, okay? He has asked for help. He says, do you have any patriots, anybody that lives in this area that can come and help help me, whether it be watch the land, help, watch him, watch out for Cartel, see if somebody really is following him. He feels like he has been threatened, actually. Things have happened. I'm not going to go into detail, but if there is somebody that is in the New Mexico, Texas border area that has nothing better to do and could possibly help, or knows somebody who could help that is maybe ex-law enforcement, ex-military, something like that, that could help this gentleman, just like simple surveillance, maybe even, email me, you guys. When this video is uploaded, you guys, I put all the stuff in the description box. There's nothing there right now because I jumped on real quick and I didn't get a chance to put it in there. But you can email me at sharpiemarker_1975 @Yahoo, or you can text me at area code 480-216-6140, which I'm sure my phone is done updating, so I suppose I can like really turn it back on in case somebody calls. I'm not taking phone calls quite yet, but just in case somebody like jumps the gun or whatever. But you can text me at that number too, if you know anybody that can help out. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Yes, an underwater pulley shuffling cocaine from Mexico to the US. Surprise! Are you surprised? If anybody's surprised by that, let me know in chat right now. I'd really like to know. What do you predict is going to be the next way that the cartels are going to try and get drugs over the border? Because I kid you not, coconuts. Yes, they put liquid methamphetamines in coconuts like 2 months ago. Drones, Tim, they already do it. They already do it. Yes, they already, drugs are already sent over the border with drones already. We know that in like the New Mexico, El Paso, like border area, they use drones a lot over there. A lot of times the drones are used overhead to see where Border Patrol is. They do that so they, if they know Border Patrol is down here, they know they can send people over there. Or when they have people crossing, they'll tell people, okay, follow the drone into the US. And they do. And the drone flies overhead and they go through the dark following the drone that has a little flashing light. The drones are also used over ports of entry to see which lanes are moving faster than others, to see where it may be safer to travel through for somebody who's either smuggling drugs or human trafficking over the border. So drones are used. Drones can fly over the border, drop a small load. If the load is small enough, a drone can carry it. And then somebody on the other side, on our side, who's not on our side, can walk up, retrieve the package, and go take care of business. Yep. So drones. Swamp buggies. Yeah, probably not too long ago. There was, who's seen the original Mad Max? The original Mad Max movie where you've got that kind of like really creepy skinny guy with a funky, like bad teeth, and he rides that little helicopter. It's like literally a propeller and a one-seater. Okay, recently one of those, they caught something flying into our airspace, and by the time they got to it, it had already landed and been abandoned, full of drugs. So, is that possible? A swamp buggy? Yeah, why not? What do you guys say? Surely we can auto hack drones. Yeah. And someone said, why are we not shooting down the drones? Thank you. Good question. Why are we not? It's in our airspace. We should be able to shoot them down. I don't know if it's because they're such low flying objects that they can't detect them with radar and various other surveillance. But that was my only thought in my head as to why we're not going after the drones, because we don't know that they're there. It's too low to the ground to pick up, probably. Border Patrol in El Paso did not know that there were drones above them. Actually, Conservative Anthony was filming Border Patrol going down into the sewage systems to flush out people that were, could possibly still be in there because they had reports of people coming out of the manholes, which we've got footage of that on my channel, like way back. You just have to go search for it. And he said, hey, do you guys know that you've got drones above watching you? And you can literally see Border Patrol. Oh, hey, come here, come here, come here. And they all come over and they're all, yeah, they had no idea because my guess is that they're solo flying. Now, that's just a theory. It could be true. I'd have to ask Captain Vicky. She's a friend of mine who is a airlines pilot, like major airline pilot. She could probably tell me how low radar picks up. I don't know that. Maybe even Mr. Atomic might know because he does aerospace stuff. He might know. If you do, Han, just spit that out, Black Bart. If you know like how low radar can pick stuff up. Oh, he already did. He yelled at me. I already did. Oh, I love him. Sometimes. No, he knows I do. All right. So I talked to you about the Gulf Cartel and their cocaine pulley. Talk to you about how Border Patrol helps out with natural disasters and hurricanes, which I didn't even know that they did, but I don't even know why I didn't think about that because I was just having a stupid moment. I don't know. Okay, do you guys remember the pilot program about like a month and a half ago where they were testing DNA? It was a pilot program. They were just testing on testing, okay? And they found out that what was it, like a third of the or 2/3 of the family units coming across were fake, and they did this by DNA testing. And which I think was what I think was crazy is that it was voluntary. So only if the migrant agreed to do this swab test, okay, it was the mouth swab test, then they did it. But they could technically deny it and say, no, I don't want to have that done. And there's nothing that we could do. But I guess there were some that were not smart enough and they said, yeah, okay. And they did it and they found out the kids that they had that they claimed were their children were not theirs. There was absolutely zero genetic relation. Well, an article that just came out on the 29th, so it came out yesterday. This is from BuzzFeed. I consider BuzzFeed pretty credible, okay? I'm sure it's not perfect, but it's sure as hell better than CNN, right? It said, what? He knows I hate when he does this because it's like having a backseat driver. But it says hundreds of thousands of people could have their DNA collected each year if it is fully implemented, which I hope they do. They should, because we have to somehow try and prevent child trafficking. Okay, there are too many kids that are being brought over the border and used. There are still people out there that think that is not real, that there is no child trafficking, there are no fake family units. Those are some stupid people, okay, because it has been proven. It's been proven. Border Patrol proved it with the pilot program of DNA testing. So anybody out there that says, oh, that's not real, hi, fake news, hashtag stupid people, okay? They are people that just don't want to look at it. They don't want to see it. They don't want to hear it. Out of sight, out of mind. It doesn't exist. Well, guess what? It's real. And there's going to be a whole generation of kids that grow up hating the U.S. and blaming us because we did not do enough to prevent them being trafficked over the border. Like, okay, there's no way we can completely stop it. It is impossible to do. Not in this type of a world that we live in. But we have the power, the technology, and the ability to at least try and prevent it. And this is one of the ways. The Trump administration wants to enable Customs and Border Protection officials to collect DNA samples from undocumented immigrants in its custody. And this is a draft policy obtained by BuzzFeed. The move will likely inspire the anger of civil liberties and immigrant advocates who argue that the government should not draw sensitive personal information from people without being tied to a specific crime. Okay, here's where the left comes into play. Here's where the ACLU comes into play. Southern Poverty Law. These are all the people that will be against this, okay? Because it's infringing on their rights, or they'll say it's racist, or whatever stupid excuse they're going to give. But the bottom line is it would only be done to help stop the human trafficking. These kids that are being recycled over and over and over again, which in previous times, we have not been able to collect DNA. We have not been able to photograph them. We have not been able to fingerprint them. So we could not identify how many times these kids were coming over the border. That's sick. That's disgusting. And you are the lowest POS on this planet if you traffic a child just to be your golden ticket to get over the border and into the US. And if you disagree with procedures that could stop that, you are just as big of a POS as the person who brought that child over. So every liberal, every Democrat that is against DNA testing is an enemy to children. And you guys, I keep it real. I tell you the way it is. I don't sugarcoat things. That's what the way I've always been on my channel, and that's always how I will be. So I guarantee you there's probably some troll that's going to show up in my chat or show up in my comments or watch this video and be like, oh, she's racist. Well, guess what? If that's what it means to be racist, then I am a proud racist. I'll tell you that right now. But I guarantee you I'm the farthest thing from it, because my ex-husband was Hispanic, okay? There was this black girl that walked into work today, and her skin was so black, like the blackest black I've ever seen. And the only thing I could think of was, oh my God, she's beautiful. That is beautiful. And I had a Muslim chick do my hair. So tell me again that Atomic News is racist, and let's have a conversation about that. In fact, I invite you to call me and we'll have a conversation about that live on my live stream sometime, okay? Not tonight, because I'm too fired up and annoyed with people, and I keep sniffing from my allergies, and I gotta get through this live stream. But I invite you to message me if you think that I truly am a racist, and we'll have a combo about that. So moving on, the move will likely inspire, oh, I already read that part. I'm fired. Administration officials estimate that Border Patrol officials would spend more than 20,000 additional work hours on such a policy in its first year of implementation. Hundreds of thousands of individuals could have their DNA collected each year if the draft regulation proposed by the Department of Justice is fully implemented. Oh, you know, the Democrats will stop that, and then blame it on Trump, because that's all they know how to do. That's the only thing that Democrats can accomplish, is stopping legislation that would help the border and then turning around and blaming the border on Trump. While the regulation does not specifically say immigration and customs enforcement officials would also collect DNA from people in their custody, it also does not limit them from doing so. In a statement to BuzzFeed, a DHS official said that the federal agency is working closely with the Department of Justice on a path forward for DNA collection. And you know what? This would help with criminals that continuously come over the border, predators, okay? Child predators, murderers, all that kind of stuff, okay? This would help. So not only would it help child trafficking and stop in this, you know, and deterring that, but it's going to help in other crimes as well. The official noticed that an ICE pilot program at the southwest border earlier this year, in which the agency took voluntary DNA tests of those they supported of fraudulently claiming to be families. ICE has identified dozens of cases in which children had no familial relation to the adults accompanying them. So they were either kidnapped, borrowed, rented, sold, however you want to put it. In the first operation, 16 out of 84 family units were identified as fraudulent based on negative DNA results. And in the second operation, 79 of 522 family units were identified as fraudulent based on negative DNA test results to date. Proposed regulations are not immediately enacted and require a 60-day comment period. Okay. Administration officials cite a statute, the DNA Fingerprint Act of 2005, that allows federal agencies to collect DNA from individuals in their custody, including those who are not American. But previous Department of Justice regulations exempted agencies under the Department of Homeland Security, including Border Patrol and ICE, from conducting such collections in certain circumstances. So it goes on and on and on, but I would like to know, everybody, I like to do these little 1 and 2 polls. I just like, because you guys, I don't get to see all the time what you guys say, because I'm live streaming and I can't read this and do it all at one time. So if you think that continuing the DNA testing is a good thing, I want to know, put 1 in the comments right now. And if you think it's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, put 2. I'm just curious what you guys think. And just on that note, I want you guys to know that if you want to say something that you want me to see, you guys have to do it 1 of 2 ways to guarantee that I see it. 1, do the @AtomicNews, and then put whatever it is that you need to say. Or you can super chat, okay? That $ where you're typing right here, super chat. You can donate as little as $1 to my channel, and then you can put a comment or a statement or a question, and boom, it highlights. Like, I cannot miss it if you do that. Guaranteed, I'm gonna see it. The world is gonna see it. It's like putting skywriting in the sky for me. All right, so super chat. If you're feeling frisky, please donate. If you're not, that's okay. I don't judge anybody on my channel, whether you do or do not donate to my channel. You are still welcome here, and I still appreciate you and want you here. Some YouTubers are not like that, but I hope you guys appreciate the fact that I want you here regardless of your opinion and whether or not you donate to my channel. So, hold on, let me plug in my phone, because nothing was charged up, you guys. I have 1 more article I want to talk about, but if there is somebody that wants to call in and give me their thoughts, I've been talking for almost 40 minutes now. My telephone number here is 480-216-6140. I can probably take a call or 2 tonight. I didn't plan on it. I'm just in one of those ornery moods because of customers. BK for Truth, how do you feel about Omar wanting to put the UN on the border? Oh my God. Oh, I just threw down my Donald Trump doll. If that topic pisses me off so much, I threw my Trump doll. I'm sorry, Donald. No, I didn't really kiss him, but what do I think about that? Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. Are you? Miss Anti-Semitic, I hate white people. It's funny that she is having an affair with a married white man. She is a hypocrite. I think she is an embarrassment to women. Like, I am all for having women in politics. I hope I live to see the first female president, but there are women like Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and AOC that embarrass me, that they represent women. It's disgusting. They disgust me. Okay. Ilhan Omar, yeah. You guys, if you don't know what we're talking about, I have a video that I put on my channel yesterday in regards to Ilhan Omar, basically doing like a speech, talking to people. And she suggests that we bring in the UN to manage our immigration problems. Oh, yeah, because we didn't sign that UN migration pact. So here's another underhanded way to try and get the UN to set foot in the US and take control over the border problems. The reason we have border problems is because of Democrats. Okay, we've been trying to put that wall on the border for years, far back. Okay, Obama, we all know this, but the Democrats won't acknowledge it. Obama, we were supposed to, we had funds approved under Obama to build that wall. Yeah. BK for Truth. Oh, okay, good. Black Bart already popped it in. It tried to censor your comment, BK for Truth. I think it's because of the F word, but you didn't even put the full F word. So YouTube is so sensitive. But Omar, yeah, that's not going to happen. As long as there's a single conservative Republican alive, the UN is not going to set foot on our soil to do our business. The only way it would happen is if we had a stupid Democrat like Elizabeth Warren in office, okay? I love how, was it Gillibrand who dropped out of the Democratic race? And Trump tweeted, "Oh, and she was the one I was really afraid of." I love that man. You guys, area code 480-216-6140. I have one more article that I wanted to talk to you guys about. I guess I'll talk about it in you know how it rolls. Sometimes you guys all call in, sometimes none of you guys call in. It's okay. There's some topics that really get people fired up, and then there are some topics that people are just like, oh yeah, they just watch and they just listen, and that's cool. I'm cool either way. God, I really wish these allergies would go away. But this is according to the U.S. Border Patrol website. You guys have been watching this website a lot lately. I didn't used to, and I should have, and I don't know why I haven't. And that's where I got some of the footage that I posted in the past 24, 48 hours. Did you guys like the one about the Beagle Brigade? Like, I love that video. You guys every single one of you need to go watch that video after this live stream about the Beagle Brigade and how they use beagles, and they train beagles for the Border Patrol to sniff in bags and stuff and find like contraband. And this little beagle, he goes sniffing through this lady's tote bag and he finds apples. It's so cute. He's like, of course the beagle is going to find the food, leave it to a beagle to find food. But Border Patrol Operation Stone Garden, and I know that there are people in here that don't know what Operation Stone Garden is. I did post a video on that like 2 months ago, maybe. No, it was back when I lived in Illinois, I think. So at least 3 months ago. In regards to Operation Stone Garden. You guys, Operation Stone Garden is where police and other officials can volunteer or work as Border Patrol and work the border as a Border Patrol agent. So Operation Stone Garden partners apprehended 65 aliens and seized 42 pounds of cocaine in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. But Puerto Rico's problem is Donald Trump, right? Puerto Rico is so corrupt. It's ridiculous. You guys remember, okay, they're all bitching right now about, let's see, how Puerto Rico fares in this hurricane and how much Trump can jack it up, right? Trump already declared a state of emergency before the hurricane even hit Puerto Rico because he knows they're going to need help. We gave them plenty of supplies and donations and resources to recover from that last hurricane. Their governments wasted tons of it. Thank you, Nora, for your $5 super chat. She says, I thought we didn't have a problem at the border and now we have to invite the UN in. Right? We're not going to invite the UN. Don't worry. As long as Donald Trump is in office, that is not going to happen. So you all need to vote Trump 2020 because he will never let the UN touch the United States. He's not stupid. That man is not stupid. So if there's only one reason you vote for Donald Trump in 2020, let it be to keep the UN out of the United States. Okay, vote Trump 2020. Thank you again, though, Nora, for that $5 super chat. So the U.S. Border Patrol agents, along with Operation Stone Garden partners, apprehended 65 aliens and seized 42 pounds of cocaine, which is 19 kilos. Like, I don't know how to convert all that stuff, so I'm so glad they converted that for me. That's what I need Mr. Atomic for. He's the math person, not me. And this was in 2 separate incidents on Sunday and Monday. Okay, so this is recent. They estimate the value of the narcotics is $481,000. Okay, that's a lot of green right there. We continue to work with our local partners to respond to smuggling attempts through our coastal borders, keeping our communities safe continues to be one of our major priorities, and we encourage everyone to assist us in our mission. If you see something suspicious, call us. Indicated Xavier Morales, Chief Patrol Agent of the, is it Ramey sector? Ramey sector? Ramey, R-A-M-E-Y. I'm guessing it's Ramey. Although we prepare for inclement weather, the Border Patrol does not close or cease operations during inclement weather, such as hurricanes. On August 26th, a Border Patrol agent detected a Yola-type vessel. Yola. They're showing a picture of like a V hull, looks like an aluminum boat. So I'm guessing that's what they're referring to. They detected a Yola-type vessel navigating towards the northwestern coast of Puerto Rico. Department Joint Forces for Rapid Action and a Border Patrol Caribbean Air and Marine Operation Coastal Interceptor got involved. The vessel was intercepted about 6 miles west of the city of Aguadilla. Yeah, I really need to learn Spanish. Finding a total of 28 aliens, 24 males and 2 females. Okay, so and there were 2 unaccompanied juveniles, both boys, all from the Dominican Republic. Inside the vessel, agents found a duffel bag containing 14 bricks of suspected narcotics, which tested positive for the properties of cocaine. I love how it says suspected narcotics. Well, what do you think they were carrying? 14 bricks of sugar? It's like having to use the word allegedly. It's like, come on. It is what it is, right? On August 25th, agents detected a vessel approaching the beach in Cabo Rojo, Puerto Rico, in the island's southwestern coast. Border Patrol and the U.S. Coast Guard responded to the location with a joint effort. All the people on board the smuggling vessel were apprehended. Let's see. Okay, the Operation Stone Garden Grant Program is designed to enhance cooperation and coordination from the U.S. Border Patrol with local tribal, territorial, state, and federal law enforcement agencies in a joint mission to secure the border. I like how it says tribal. I really do. Because you don't hear about the tribal nations doing much ever. So if we have tribal police forces, because you guys know some of these tribes are big enough that they have their own little government in there, their own police force, their own fire department. Not all of them rely on the government for everything. So I like that I'm reading it could include tribal officers. Good. All right. Get to it. Get involved. They've had plenty of time to acclimate, right? The Ramey sector is one of the 21 sectors spread out across the United States, encompassing the U.S. territorial islands of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. It is the only Border Patrol sector located outside the continental United States. The sector's entire border area is made up of coastline, and its area of responsibility is made up of some 6,000 square miles of land and water area, including the 12-mile band of territorial water surrounding the islands. So Operation Stone Garden, I had never heard of that until this year, until 2019. I didn't know it existed. It means if I didn't know it, that means a lot of you in the chat and watching this video right now didn't know about it either. So I highly suggest you going into my video history and looking for that Operation Stone Garden video so you can see. It's almost like similar to a documentary kind of, where it's very informative. Thank you, DJ, for your $5 super chat. You did not put a comment or a question. Do you have a comment or a question that you want to ask? I mean, if not, that's okay. But thank you for donating to my channel. I appreciate that. If you do have a question or a comment, just go ahead and put it in the chat right now, and I'll just keep an eye out for it here. And then if you have a question, I'll answer it for you. Or I'll read whatever you have to say out loud. So if you can't find that video in my history, just search Operation Stone Garden, okay? And it's not spelled anything weird. It's all one word, Stone Garden, and it's really interesting. You know, if you're nerdy like me and you like that kind of thing, you know, I think you'd enjoy learning about it. I'm glad that we have programs like that, because obviously Border Patrol does not have enough help. They do not have enough manpower on the border. And we think it's difficult on land with people crossing, because that's what we see from day to day. We see that every day. I mean, I have hours of footage on my channel of people getting busted on land as they illegally cross the border. We don't stop to think about water, the ocean, okay? We have lots of Cubans that, I mean, Cubans have been coming over here for decades, since Castro, especially. DJ says, thank you for all you do. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here. You guys, my own grandmother, she's Cuban, okay? So that's another reason why I laugh when people say, oh, Atomic News is racist. My mother is Cuban. I mean, my grandmother, sorry, not my mother. My grandmother's Cuban. Okay. She came over here, like, I think when she was 18, fleeing Castro. Okay. Her first husband was a political prisoner of Cuba, of Castro. Okay. So obviously she didn't stay married to him. And then she met my grandpa, and they got married. So she's really my step grandma. So technically I'm not Cuban, but, dude, woman makes the best chicken and rice ever. I always think that maybe one of these days I should have her on my channel. Since my grandpa passed away, we don't see her very often. I've seen her once in over a decade, I think. And it's sad. I miss my grandma. But I'm sure there are so many stories my grandma could tell about that time in her life and what it took for her to immigrate to the US. Now, her family did it legally. She's an American citizen. She's been a legal American citizen for decades. And I'll tell you right now, I guarantee, I don't even have to ask my grandma. I can tell you that all these people illegally crossing the border pisses her off. Guaranteed. I would bet my entire income for a year that this pisses off my grandmother because they did it legally. They fled a corrupt government, just like these people are doing in the South American or Central American countries. Okay, corrupt leader, corrupt government, poverty, hunger. They ran from it. They did it the right way. Guaranteed. She's been a legal citizen for decades. And I guarantee you she'll sit there and say, nope, do it the right way. Because there is a pathway. There is a way to legally do it. These people just chose not to. They chose to cheat. They're cutting the line. They're cutting in front of a bajillion people that are doing it the right way or trying to do it the right way. There are still people living under tarps on the Mexican side of the border in Tijuana, waiting for their chance to come in here legally. And every day they go up to that line to check and see if their number is up. Is it their time for somebody to hear why they are crossing, wanting to cross into America? You know, their asylum plea, whatever you want to call it. My grandma, I remember her saying that the military took over her family house. You know, I hope I'm remembering these details right. But if I'm remembering correctly, she told me that their family's important things like documents or the family jewels, I guess, for lack of a better term, anything of value was buried under the house. No, I don't know where my grandma lived. Otherwise, I'd be like calling up Cuba and be like, "Hey, can you check under that rock for my grandma to see if that's still there?" No, but I'm sure it's either been found by now or they've built over it or whatever. But I think when they fled, that everything was hidden there so that the troops did not confiscate their stuff, because they would. They'd take any. It's a corrupt government. It's corrupt military over there. They would take anything of value and be sorry, sucker. So I guarantee you, though, she'd have some good stories to tell, and a very interesting old Cuban lady's opinion on all of this. Maybe one of these times I'll have her on my channel. I don't know, but I do know that she would tell you that there are still people coming from Cuba, because there's still a corrupt leader, a corrupt government, a corrupt military. People are still coming from Cuba. I don't know if you remember, like in the 90s, I forget, what was that kid that floated? They found him on a raft and he was like the only one alive or something like that. And he's grown up in America now. His whole family's gone or whatever. Who knows what that kid is? What was his name? Like, it'll hit me later today. I'm sure somebody here can think of it, but it was like in the 90s, I think. And he was like famous everywhere. There are people that are still floating up here on boats. Most of the Cubans will take a boat over to Mexico and come up through the border through Mexico, because they know they can take advantage of the problem that we have on the border. They take advantage of it and they blend in with the migrants that are coming up from the Central American countries. Because why? Because it's easy. It's easy to take advantage of the U.S. right now and our border and our loopholes and our screwed up immigration system. So Cubans are still floating over there. But we don't think of, going back to it, we don't think about the water. We think about Border Patrol on land. We don't think about Border Patrol on the water. But the truth is, they have to be there too. Most people would think, oh, that's the Coast Guard. Well, they work all together to accomplish the same goal. It's just different terrain. Whether it be smuggling drugs through the water, smuggling people through the water, people just simply coming across the water to get to America. Because what is it, way down there, like high geographically challenged, but isn't like Haiti down there too, like way down there? So Cuba is not the only poor place that can reach the U.S. through water. And we tend to forget that. If I lived in Florida, I'd probably be on the beach trying to get you some footage of people coming across the ocean. But I think I'll have to leave that to my buddy. Let's be frank. I don't live in Florida, or Florida Jim. Maybe I can have Florida Jim cover stories that, if there's, you don't even see them on the news anymore, but they exist. Just like people think the border crisis is over, down on the southern border, on our land-to-land border, just because they don't see it on the news, it must not exist. Out of sight, out of mind. It doesn't exist if you don't see it and hear it, right? That's kind of how the world works right now, because we're all like this in our computers and our phones, and we're so self-centered that we don't stop to think of what's going on all around us. And now, Canada, I like to joke and call it Canada. Up in Canada, which I think I'm going to have Steven Zorb on my channel soon. We're working that out. We kind of tried to do it before, and then he got Facebook banned for a while, and then now he's back. But he's that Canadian, that liberal turned conservative. He is a married gay male, and people actually call him anti-gay and a bigot, which is hilarious in my opinion, and his. He thinks it's a joke. The same things are happening to Canada now, because things have gotten so strict with the U.S. that they're starting to go to Canada now. Everything's so relaxed in Canada right now. Basically, if you're part of the LGBT world, you get like everything. You're so special that you get everything, okay? Google Jessica Yaniv. Y-A-N-I-V is a last name. So Jessica Yaniv. That is somebody in Canada who's taking absolute advantage of Canada and all of their human rights laws. Okay, they're so relaxed in that. They're also relaxed on their border. So now illegals are going up to Canada. They're literally flying and crossing the border into Canada with their luggage rolling behind them, just like they've been doing on our border. So now Canada knows exactly what we've been going through. So I'm going to shut off my phone because I've been talking for about an hour now, and that's okay. Nobody called in. You know, that happens once in a blue moon. It's okay. It's a Friday night. But I knew that I wouldn't be able to do a border update tomorrow. I knew I wouldn't be able to do it Sunday because Sunday I have an event thing that I'm doing with AZ Patriots, which I'm going to get footage of because it's just something cool. It's just something cool. It's not going to be anybody crossing the border, unfortunately, where I can get you some juicy footage, but we're doing something cool. And she kind of reached out and grabbed a bunch of patriots to kind of be part of this, and me and Mr. Atomic are going to be part of it and help them out. So I'll get that. I'll post that footage on Sunday. I probably will not do another border update until next week sometime, probably after the holiday. I'm guessing like Tuesday. I usually like to do them on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So I'll do one then. Unless something pops up between now and then, I may do some short videos or put some more footage out there for you guys. But that should be my next live stream. I will put it in the community section of YouTube, as always. Sometimes it's a short notice, sometimes it's long notice. But thank you, TKO, for being here tonight and moderating. Thank you, Black Bart, for moderating. Oh, I finally got somebody calling in. Okay, all right, I'll let this one call roll. Here, let's do it. Hi, this is Atomic News.
Yes, what are you discussing tonight?
Anything in regards to the border right now. Make sure you turn your YouTube down in the background, though, because I think I can hear it, and it'll be hard for us to hear each other.
Right. Well, you shut your phone off, so I didn't know this was going to ring through.
Surprise!
You want to talk about borders and stuff?
Yeah.
Have you been paying attention to what's going on in China?
Yeah. Oh, you mean with Hong Kong?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on at this moment as of today, but I know that they're protesting against the government. I know that they are asking Donald Trump to try and step in and help. I know they've been waving our flags and singing our national anthem, and it's kind of out of control there. But if there's something that you know of, shoot, tell us about it.
Well, they've infiltrated this country really big time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they have just poured into this country, and they've set up their own little cities and everything.
Right.
We got them coming on the West Coast. We got them coming up through Canada. We got the borders. The southern border is open. They're pouring in there.
Right.
We're under attack.
Watch. Next, we'll have refugees from Hong Kong. How much you want to bet about that?
Well, I don't know how serious that'll be.
Right.
Because they're on our side.
Yes, they are.
I don't think we'd have to fight them.
Right.
I'm just worried about the ones we have to fight.
Right. Well, if the Chinese government says, screw this, we're not dealing with this anymore, and starts to pull another episode of what they did last time this happened, where they shot at and killed, big crowds.
Right. Tiananmen Square or whatever.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. I mean, who knows? It could happen again. The Chinese government is dirty like that.
I called a friend the other night. I'm in Nevada.
Uh-huh.
He's in Wyoming, where I used to live. And he is 100% Democrat. And he's like 63 years old.
Really?
And I talked to him, and he said, there's no sense in trying to convince me I'm not going to change. And he believes Trump is just the worst person in the world. He believes we're all evil. And I mean, I watch InfoWars a lot, and I watch Hagman. I watch them all. I'm retired. I'm 69 years old. I just sit on the internet and watch all this stuff.
Yeah.
And these people actually believe that we're Nazis, and they're.
Yeah.
I guess I'd like to know how they're. I'd like to know what they're going to do about it.
Isn't it crazy? It's like you wonder how can they be so small-minded, just to be so set in their ways that, there's nothing that could change me. You know, it's like I'm really pro-Trump, I'm really conservative Republican, but guarantee you there's some things people could, if they, you know, if they really showed me truth, they might be able to change my mind. You know, at least I could openly say that. But there are some people out there that no matter what, and those I think are small-minded people.
Well, it says in the Bible, because it says, Satan clouds your eyes, and if God doesn't knock the scales off your eyes, you can't see it.
Right.
Well, when I'm talking to my buddy in Wyoming the other day, he was trying to tell me his Christian, and then when I questioned him, he said, well, I don't really believe in God, I just believe in a higher power.
Yeah.
And I have a brother-in-law, and he believes that Darwin theory is everything, and he doesn't believe in God either.
Uh-huh.
And I think that this is the problem. Well, it says in Ephesians 6, this is spiritual war.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly believe with all my heart that if you believe in God, you can see what's going on. But the people that don't believe in God, a lot of them can't see it because God never opened their eyes.
Right.
I don't understand how this works, and I've asked God to show me, but He never did. Not yet, anyway.
No, but that's the key right there. Not yet. You never know what's going to happen.
So this is going to get very, very. I was listening on Hagman last night. There was a lady on there named Celeste, and they were questioning her because she's an insider. She worked for Homeland Security and these other places, and she was saying that the firmament, and I don't know exactly what the firmament is. I talked to a flat earther, and she says that that's the bubble over the earth, and we live on the flat earth, which I disagree because I've flown in a lot of planes, and the earth isn't flat. Anyway.
Right.
The lady Celeste was saying the firmament has been broken, it's cracked, and we're going into we're going into an ice age, and it's going to start this year in September, she said.
Isn't that interesting? Ice age, when we sit here and people are yelling global warming, but isn't that interesting though? Like that you hear both sides.
Yeah, and the whole thing about this is who do you believe?
Right.
You know, there's so much information out there, and people are always asking me this stuff, and I tell them all the time, it's information. I don't disbelieve it. I don't believe it. It's information. You have to, figure it all out.
Well, I tell everybody, take all the information you can and then make your decision, with your own mind based on the information you have. Don't let somebody else make your decisions for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
A lot. I live in a little town. It's sad. These people can't think.
Oh.
But I think it's the heat.
Maybe.
Well, you know how it is when it's hot.
Oh, yeah.
You're down there in Arizona. But, man, I tell you, these people lived here all their lives. Oh, my gosh. I just don't know what to think about them.
Mr. Atomic always calls Phoenix the Valley of the Sun Dead because he thinks everybody's brains are like melted from the heat, that they're just like malfunctioning.
Well, I gotta agree with him. I do. Sorry. I spent some time in Vegas about 40 years ago, and man, I'll tell you what, in Henderson, and when that heat gets you,
yeah.
Plus, I was in El Centro. I called in and told you this before, but I was in El Centro, 135 in the daytime, 95 at night, all summer long.
Oh, that's so gross.
Yeah, well, that's right there on the border also, because we was building a geothermal plant. I worked construction.
Mm-hmm.
And the heat, you can't think.
Yeah.
You can't do anything.
You can. You just feel so bad. You feel gross,
Yeah. That's where zombies come from, I swear.
Yeah. In the desert.
Okay, well, I just thought I'd call in and say, the Chinese are coming,
yeah.
and the people from the South are coming, and we got more problems probably with just the people right here in our own country.
Yeah, right. We do have enough problems with our own people. Well, we do.
I was overseas many years ago in a war, and you don't know who the enemy is because they all look the same.
Yeah.
And that's what we got in our country right now.
Yeah.
All the people like you and me, we have different ideologies, and now who do we fight? Right. You don't know.
Right. That's a good point. Well, all right, my dear. I'm glad that you called in tonight. I mean, I'm sorry that I scared you when I picked up. You didn't plan on me picking up, but I'm glad you did call in.
Okay, well, I kept saying call in, and I just got on here because I just found out you was live.
Yeah. All right, cool.
It all worked out.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
You bet. You have a great night.
You too.
Talk to you again.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Surprise, I answered the phone. Okay, now I really am turning down my phone. But you know what, somebody's Ilhan Bromar in the chat right now just said climate cycles. You're right. As far as climate, I forget what museum I was at, but it was a museum. I think in Illinois. I think it was like the Chicago Museum of Science and Industry. I don't know, something like that. Mr. Atomic probably knows which one we went to. But it showed specifically how many ice ages, like how many times the Earth has had like a life-ending event, basically, whether it be through meteor or the climate, like an ice age, something like that. Like we've been killed off, or life on Earth has been killed off many times. There we go. Black Bart says the Field Museum. That's what it was in Chicago. There have been at least like at least four that I can remember, extinction level climate related event type things. Don't yell it out, Mr. Atomic, because I can't hear you. Type it in the chat. Where we have died, okay? So climate change, it's nothing new. Okay, climate change has been happening since the beginning of this planet, since it first began and existed day one. Okay, so for the left to say, "Oh, we're causing climate change," no, we're not causing climate change. We could be helping it, yeah, we could, but it's going to happen regardless. And AOC's little thing about how, well, if we don't decarbonize now, the glaciers are going to melt and they're going to release diseases, and we're all going to die from the diseases that the glaciers release. Dude, honey, we're like all going to die from what's happening right now in our country as it is. If it's not the plague, okay, fleas that have the plague in Arizona, if it's not typhus in California, if it's not Ebola coming up through the southern border in New Mexico and Texas, if it's not the flu, okay, like a massive flu outbreak, all right, it's gonna be the Earth. The Earth getting pissed off and saying, and hit that restart button, because that's what the Earth has done multiple times already to us. Not man itself, but life in itself. The Earth has hit the reset button multiple times. So hopefully it doesn't happen in our lifetimes, but it's going to happen eventually. All right. So I know it's kind of morbid, and that's kind of like a morbid thing to leave this live stream on, but it's been almost an hour and 15 minutes, and this girl's got to jump in the shower because I'm tired. So thanks you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you to those of you that super chatted me today. Thank you to my moderators. If you're new here, you guys make sure that you hit that subscribe button. If you haven't hit the like button already, hit that like button. And then when this is uploaded, share it. Share it, because YouTube likes to censor conservatives like me. All right, they get off on it. All right. So the more we share it, the more we get the word out, the more people we get subscribed, the more that my videos will show up in your recommended, in the suggested videos, and you guys will then hear the truth. Because that's the way I say it on my channel, because I don't really care if anybody gets upset when it comes to the truth, because we all deserve the truth. So I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream, and until next time, you guys, peace out.